Get your drinks ready. We got about half an hour. If you're watching, welcome to the show. We're waiting for the live stream to start. Get your drinks ready. We got about half an hour. If you're watching, welcome to the show. We're waiting for the live stream to start. Get your drinks ready. We got about half an hour. If you're watching, welcome to the show. We're waiting for the live stream to start. Meanwhile, we're enjoying a nice onboard view here. That was unfortunately shot earlier, but it still looks epic. No, you did not miss the end of the last show. Something happened with YouTube. We don't know what, but it cut off the last part, the technical analysis. So we were not able to get that back, unfortunately. Can you guys hear me good? Let me know in the chat. Should be audible now, pretty good. You should be able to hear me if the sound of the underlying video is a little bit lower like this. I'm not planning on talking much, so don't worry. We're watching some cool footage that was shot earlier today by Chopper of Sebastian slowly sailing into Les Sables. Really cool and crazy to think that he sailed nearly half the Vendeeglobe with only one foil. And of course, today, Boris also joined the One Foil Club. And actually, on that note, we'll jump to a video of Boris also soon, just while we're waiting. Don't know if all of you saw the update yet. And I guess Sebastian is joining a very illustrious group, which is really him and Alex Thompson, I guess, who actually finished on the podium with only one foil. And it's also interesting that they sailed a very similar distance, because Alex also lost his foil pretty early in the race, just entering the Southern Ocean, and also finished the race with one foil in second place. So pretty cool. I'm trying not to set the mic too hard. Let's take a look at update from Boris.
Hi everyone, January 16th. It's not a lucky day. Something hit my port foil and the port foil is broken. But it didn't rip off, so I have to cut it off, which will not be easy. I have the tools here, trying to do my best. If I don't get it off, that will be a problem. So difficult day today here. Wish me luck to get the job done, and then we can continue in full safety. Have a half broken foil next to the boat is not very safe. Otherwise the boat and myself are unharmed and good, so that's good news, and I'm confident to bring the boat home. I'm 900 miles to leeward of the Cape Verde, so getting there for shelter is also not the easy option at the moment. So hopefully today I managed to get the foil off. That's a difficult job. Cut a foil like that in the boatyard takes many hours, so doing it out here, hanging over the side with a belt and harness and a battery grinder that has only small discs, It seems like an impossible task, but I will try the impossible as always. All the best. Wish me luck. Ciao.
It's amazing to see the foil without the cover there. Huh? You can see the plastic polymer inside there. That's what's supposed to take any hits, help with that, but obviously it didn't help enough. But still, they tried. And I have to say, this solution is pretty clever. Yeah, so you basically braced it with two lines.
Ça c'était un sacré boulot encore. The foil is now attached. It doesn't move at the moment. But look all the so many tools are around here now. I was grinding and hammering and using this and lots of rope work. Hi everyone, quick update. After the repair is done, we are back on track. A bit slower now without proper foil. So what I did in the end was I understood quickly that cutting the foil with the tools at hand would be impossible, probably. So I was hanging upside down underneath the foil where it goes in the hull, cutting away some of the splinters and the skin of the foil. Then I managed to wind it 80% into the boat, so less foil sticking out into the ocean. And then I put some ropes over the top of the tip to pull forward and aft strong to avoid the motion. Sounds easy to do, but took me 3 hours. Lots of tools involved, the grinder, the climbing gear, lots of purchases, cleats, clamps, hammers. As always, lots of those things. And luckily today I have the right head, no problemo. So we are continuing the race. We will be asymmetric performance, bit slower on starboard tack. I would estimate, depends on the wind strength. At this light winds at the moment, probably 3 knots slower. But at stronger winds it can be a much higher difference. So so far so good. Let's see if this holds, and wish you all a nice evening. Thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah, so pretty devastating blow for Boris there, but good to see that he at least was able to fix the initial problem and is able to sail on with some confidence now. A bit slower than he used to be, so yeah, for his place in the ranking, it's probably not going to do him any good. But on the other hand, he is sailing again, and marvelous how he was able to stabilize that. So pretty good. Before we start with the Sebastian live, I also got a nice update from Ollie on board Tooth Good. Here we go.
Hello everyone, it's Ollie on board Tooth Good on day 68 of the Vendeeglobe. And it's a beautiful day here, still not very warm, but very sunny and quite flat seas. I can show you outside quickly. It's the first time that I'm very obviously not in the Southern Ocean anymore, so I'm really enjoying the sailing. I currently sail with a full mainsail, J1 and J3 as a staysail. Now I'm still sailing on port, meaning I don't have a heel that I can cant, meaning I'm sailing at quite big heel angles, 25, 30 degrees. So it's not very comfortable on the boat, but I'm making good progress, and that's important because I will be sailing into a patch of very, very light winds tonight. And the wind will turn left. I will go from reaching to downwind, meaning I also have to do a big sail change during the night. I will try and catch some sleep today while the winds are still stable. But then I also have to accept the fact that the boats behind me will catch up with me because I will be almost pretty much parked for a while the others behind me still have good sailing conditions. But that's life. And then a little bit further down the road, I will have to make a big decision. So at the moment, I'm sailing along the ice gate at the ice limit. I go north, and once I reach the corner, I will then have to make a decision how to continue in the Atlantic. There are two options: either go left a little bit towards the west and closer to the coast, or go slightly more east offshore. As you can see on the tracker, the boats ahead of me are dealing with a lot of wind holes and anticyclones, and this will stay quite the same for me. So I have to try and find the best route north. So I'll be looking a lot at the weather today, but apart from this, it's all good. The boat is behaving how it should be, and I am a little bit tired, but in very good spirits. Wishing you all a great day, and I'll give you an update again tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, so that's an update on Ollie. And I also see that actually just this minute here, we got another video update by Boris. This literally just came in. Like I have to literally load it in here, but give me a second here. We got a onboard update. Here we go. So here we can actually see Boris at work. Some of you were asking how did he do that with the foil? So he is actually having the harness hanging from the mast, securing him, and then he has to climb onto the foil just by hand and foot. So I haven't seen this yet also, so perhaps after he will explain more. I don't know what he's doing because this is something that's happened after he already secured the lines. So maybe his team came up with another idea to stabilize it more or improve the performance. I guess he is lucky that he has such good calm conditions coming out of the doldrums there. Pretty quiet day, clear skies. So as far as what kind of situation you would want to do this type of work, it's pretty good.
So this is how the foil is attached now.
But
There's 3 ropes in 3 directions. So first rope is this one here, the green, becoming red, going all the way to the foil. And this red, becoming black, going down there, all the way to the foil. And then this rope here, this one, turning black here, going forward to the purchase system attached to the J15, going all the way to the foil.
Some pretty epic shots still. So recognizable, that sunset around the equator. Looks so typical. You can recognize it anywhere. Yeah, so there we have it. The situation on board that just came in 5 minutes ago. So that's like super fresh. And I guess let's get back to Sebastien flying. I just noticed, by the way, that the live has been postponed by an hour. So it's now going to be live at 0 hours. So about 70 minutes from now. In the meantime, I'm going to keep an eye on the digital server here. If anything new comes in, we can watch it right away. Yeah, Sebastian, really flying there. And for those of you who missed the technical update earlier today because YouTube somehow cut it off, we have a little extra time, so no worries. We can actually just do that live right now. Obviously, Sebastian very close to the finish, so he's making his way to get on his last line. You can see that his wind is perfectly, but he has still a little bit of distance to go until he can make the last tack to actually reach the finish line there. Then we have to hop a long way back to find the rest of the boats. And we see actually here Jeremy Beyou cut out a little bit of a win again on his closest pursuer, Sam Goodchow. They're about 20 miles apart. So the battle is going on there. And Paul Malott, of course, not that far behind. He's about 100 and so more miles after. So not an insignificant distance, but still hot pursuit. And yeah, I think this whole battle is going to get pretty interesting. The one thing about this, though, you can also, by the way, see... so Boris, now we know now why he's a lot slower, and also Thomas Ruyant, hindered by the fact that he doesn't have the J2 anymore. But if we look at the routages, we see that, yeah, a bit unfortunate for all of them. They're going to run into a very active Azores high. And so that is all going to compress again, and is going to be a bit of a lottery as they go through. You can see like the whole fleet sort of compressing through here. So the prediction is saying a lot of different things, but with such a still band through here, it's going to be anybody's guess who's really going to get through there the first. So that's going to get quite interesting. We see that Clarice retook a little bit the lead here from Benjamin Detroit because he had gotten ahead of her a little bit. And Samantha Davis was able to also make up some ground because she had a bit more the stronger winds for the last few hours. So nice on her. Then, of course, we have the very interesting situation that kind of developed earlier, where we saw that, take a look here, we see actually Conrad here in position 21 and Jean in 22, a lot more to the east. I talked earlier about the fact that this route seemed risky to me as it brings you closer to the source kind of the St. Helena High there that's creating this whole band. And yeah, now the whole group here, even though it's not ideal, just stronger to that entry into the trade winds. And so I think it's pretty likely that they are actually going to be getting out of this before Alan Rora and Jean Lecam, to be exact. And so that would actually put Conrad together with Tangier, I guess, also doesn't have foils, really in front of kind of the dagger boat fleet. So that is pretty good. Also with the Benjamin Fair there. So there are going to be 3 daggerboard boats ahead of Jean. And I think that's going to just turn into a really epically cool battle. So that's kind of nice, kind of fun to see. Behind there, we see Ollie, good, we just saw him. So he's also sailing into the lighter winds. He's probably going to get hindered here for a little bit. Behind there, we have Anton Kornek, Changxin Zhu, past the Cape nicely. We'll have a bit more wind as they pass the Falklands, but likely in this corner here, also going to get a little bit stuck. And then we have Manuel Cosin, Fabrizio Medeo, pretty much sailing on the same distance that they were doing yesterday, so not much has changed there. And then it's from Weinberg. Finally, maybe, because he's a little bit more to the south, and they all have pretty strong winds. So if he plays his cards right, I think that towards the Cape, that's going to be about as close as he's been recently. And for him, yeah, I still hope that if they all run a little bit into some interference here, he might actually be able to attach to this and really, get kind of into a group. So that could be, pretty cool. And that was actually it, more or less, slightly more up-to-date update, I guess, as we otherwise would have had in the show. But there you have it. So let's get back to Sebastian flying here. This was just about an hour ago when it was still light. Here in Europe, it's now dark. So it's going to be a night arrival. Obviously very happy being the second skipper ever in the Vendeeglobe to finish on the podium with only 1 foil and in 3rd place in such a strong fleet. It's really an incredible feat. Yeah, so for those just coming into the live stream, so the official feed has been postponed a little bit again. Sebastian needs a bit more wind to come in. And the current time they are giving now is in 71 minutes. So a quarter past 0 hour here in Europe. Other than the foil, the boat looks great. And it's interesting that he hasn't really had any other super substantial damage. So he's been lucky in being unlucky, you could say. And I see we also have a nice interview with Sebastian from just about 2 hours ago also. Let me grab it real quick. Yeah, here we go.
Seb, how are you?
Good, and you?
Not too bad. Your English is getting better every day.
Yeah? It's nice, thank you.
Well done. Anyway, how does it feel approaching Les Sables d'Olonne in third place? How are you feeling today?
I'm looking forward to cross the finish line for sure. I spent a few days to just think about the finish line, so I'm looking forward to cross this line. It's gonna be a really great moment, probably really emotional, I don't know. I want to see my family and my sponsors and my team. It's really important for me right now. So yeah, I think I'm ready.
How is the wind? How is the conditions going to be to the finish?
It's a nice condition. You know, right now I am in Brittany, so there is some clouds, for sure. It's 12 knots at this moment, and we are expected 20 knots at the end of the day. And I have only one tack to do at the end of the day, at the beginning of the night. I expected to cross the line between 10 and midnight today.
Moment you're going through the waters you know well from the Figaro.
Yeah, I know this place because I learned offshore sailing in Brittany, close to the Ratsin, and I crossed the Ratsin this morning, or really close to cross the Ratsin. So it was a really nice moment this night. I did some tack just to avoid the current. The current was really strong, but it was a really nice moment for.
And tell us a little bit, while you can, about growing up in Les Sables with the Vendeeglobe in the background to your life. What was it like?
Yeah, I am born at the same time as Vendeeglobe. So for me, it's the race of my life, you know, and I have only one motivation. I had one motivation. I had two motivations. The first one was to finish the Vendeeglobe, and the second one, the ultimate one, was to win one day the Vendeeglobe. So after this third place, I hope so, I not finished. I have only one goal for 2028, is to prepare a new project to win the Vendeeglobe. That is my goal for today.
And meantime, Seb, has anyone told Chiffon that Daddy's coming home?
Yeah, Chiffon is coming, so I'm sure that Chiffon will be there on the rib, just to have a good welcome. I hope so. I don't know what kind of show my girlfriend wants to do, but I'm sure Chiffon will be there. I'm looking forward to see Chiffon.
Great stuff. All the best, Seb. We look forward to seeing you, and stay safe through the day. We'll see you here.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Yeah, so that was on board with Sebastian early today. And for those of you just coming into the stream, we have some new images just from 10 minutes ago from Boris a little bit earlier today, making some final adjustments to the foil here, climbing on in light weather. So for those of you who came in a bit later, good to see. And we have a little bit more than an hour before the actual finish stream will come in. Yeah, so we secured the foil with a third line.
This is how the foil is attached now. There's 3 ropes in 3 directions. So first rope is this one here, the green, becoming red, going all the way to the foil. Then this red, becoming black, going down there, all the way to the foil. And then this rope here, this one, turning black here, going forward to the purchase system attached to the J15, going all the way to the foil.
Yeah, the orange bit, some people are asking on the chat. The orange bit is the outer shell. So there's a core part of the foil, which is what creates the strength, which is the hard carbon piece. Then there is a shaped material on the outside, which creates the hydrodynamic shape, let's say. And so that's more like like an outer shell, which is of a lighter, more shapeable material, let's say, which they use to create the shape to minimize the sound and things like that. By the way, so we have the Starship Lounge also here on the side. T-minus 23 minutes. Some people asked to keep an eye on that. So actually, we can. Interesting that that's happening simultaneously. And I can tell you actually a cool Elon Musk story. I used to work with somebody who was working with him here in Amsterdam in the headquarters in Tesla. And some interesting stories of the man being here and taking charge of different problems, let's say. Or maybe that's something for another chat. Let's see what else you have here. Oh, yes. No, the orange bit actually doesn't slide over. It's not a loose bit. It just came loose, I guess, because of the damage. So it is separate, but it's normally sort of, it's not glued on, but it's just molded on. And then when it gets really a hard smack and breaks off in some part, then it can actually kind of dislodge from the inner part and become like a loose shell. Yeah, the foils are about 3 meters big. So if you would take them outside of the boat and you stand next to it, they're about 3 meters high in total. So they're pretty big. Now, did you guys know that Sebastian is actually one of the people who has filmed the most sunsets during this race? Here's another one. He filmed some pretty beautiful ones. Who feels like sailing when you see that? My. As far as what Boris hit, well, any theory, no one really knows. But I can tell you that there is a lot of stuff floating in the oceans. The biggest risk is actually trees. So one thing that is around that most people don't really realize, unless you spend some time there, is that you quite often, really anywhere in the world, will encounter trees. Because wood floats down rivers and in the oceans and in the seas. And yeah, you just get a lot of wood, and wood is very hard and it floats on the top. And sometimes the tree trunks can be pretty big and heavy, and you can't really see them. So wood is usually the best bet. A lot of people, of course, talk about containers, and there are definitely a lot of containers floating around also. But I think wood is really the biggest threat in general. Just totally natural, but a real issue. And sometimes you see things floating out there, like parts of tree trunks and stuff, and you're really a bit shocked, like, holy hell, glad I didn't hit that. Yeah. There's a question about the speed in the chat, about what kind of speeds do you need to reach before you really start foiling. It depends a bit from boat to boat, but it's around 12 knots. So it's around 12 knots that the boat really jumps onto the foils and accelerates out of into the air. Take a quick peek at what's going on in SpaceX. 14 minutes to go. So a fun story for you guys who may be curious what it's like to work for Elon. I can't really reveal anything, but I can give you one cool story, which happened here in Amsterdam. Because I know that he once came back for a meeting and they had some kind of efficiency problem. So there's a lot of like time scales that they use in Tesla. Every process has a certain time assigned to it. And apparently there was a process in the factory somewhere that was taking like 2 hours longer than it should. And so he was doing a meeting here with some of the managers. And apparently he was asking about this specific part and saying, why is it taking long? And so a manager gave him some reason. And I know he actually stopped the meeting, took the manager to the actual place where that process was coming, like right away. Okay, you say this is taking long, let's go there. And within an hour, they fixed that whole process to do it. And he brought it back under control. So that's kind of an interesting quote to a good friend of mine here in Amsterdam who was working as a manager there. Pretty crazy. Crazy guy, but pretty interesting too. Right now we're waiting for some really cool footage from Sebastian that I'm getting off of the Vendeeglobe server here. Oh, wrong one. I actually meant this one. So for the people new in the stream, this is about 2 hours ago. Helicopter flyover of Sebastian making his way into the Bay of Biscay and towards the destination. And so to illustrate a little bit, why is it taking a little bit longer? The wind angle is kind of bad right now. I see that he actually tacked. So as you can see, the wind is kind of coming right out of the finish. So it makes it very tricky to actually cross that line. And it's a very small line, as you can see. So he is making, he had to go a long way out. Like, look at the amount of extra distance, not going towards the finish at all in order to get a good line. And it looks like even now he is still a little bit too high. So he's going to have to make another tack when he gets kind of close to the subs. And once he's there, going to make another tack. And then, so he probably has to do 2 or 3 tacks to go. One really long one now, and then 2 more small ones before he actually can make it across the finish line here in the sub. So you're going to come in, make another tack and another tack because the wind is extremely unfavorable. It is 9 or 10 knots though, so he's definitely going to get there, but it's still a little while. He says 19 nautical miles till he gets there. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Ah, excellent. That's some really cool video. Here we go. Yeah, there's about a few questions in the chat. about the foils on the rudders. And everybody knows that Louis Burton made a fantastic test with a T-shaped foil on his rudder, made his boat instantly go near 40 knots, and it made the IMOCA completely fly. And I know there was talked about this option in the IMOCA group, and at least for now, it can always change, of course, in the future. But the decision was made to ban T-shaped foils on the rudders and go for a full flying concept. Why exactly is hard to pinpoint, because the IMOCA class is also a little bit political in the sense that it's all the skippers together who have to vote on ideas. So it's not like a clear split, or is it this idea or that idea? It's just, what do people want? What can some teams avoid? There's people with hyper modern boats who want to move forward quickly. There's also people with older boats who cannot really follow with some developments, who don't want to see the value of their boats crash if the whole class moves forward in a certain direction too fast, right? So there's a lot going on as far as, keeping people in the class, keeping all the boats, sort of saleable within the class, bringing in enough legacy. Of course, there's some renewal. There are some old boats that are just too old that can't go along. But it's a really clever way, a really good way to build a very sustainable class. And it's for a large part also responsible for the success of the class, that it's, very focused on being very broad, having a wide range. I also like to think of the IMOCA class a bit as a garden instead of a tree, right? A tree is always trying to grow as high as possible, very selective, bringing everything to the top. But you have a big shadow underneath where nothing can grow. And in a garden is much more, you have a lot of different things, and there's space for a lot of different concepts and different goals. And I think that having, on the one hand, let's call them the adventure class, which are the daggerboard boats, and more the foiler class, which have also something in the middle. And then we have the absolute competition, let's say, where we have the front 10 boats that are, a big step above all of the other concepts out there, really aiming for speed, attacking it with a much higher budgets than the rest. And I think it makes the class very interesting. Well, so that's a bit the background. And that's also why I don't think that the T-rudder foils are going to find super fast adoption, because it would mean a lot of change. And also, it's not a concept that is very suited for the ultra tough situations that they run into in the Southern Ocean. Because when you go at those super high speeds, so that's another 10 knots potential on top of the top speed, let's say. So you get into the 15 knots range maybe. The slams get even harder. The potential damage is even bigger. And when you put a concept like that into big waves, the American Cup boats, for example, they don't do very well in high waves. So it's not just about the speed. It's also about the entire concept being ready for all of the different challenges that it needs to go through. So that's a little bit the thinking, let's say, that goes in there. Hope that answers your question. Minus 5 minutes on the SpaceX launch. We're keeping an eye on it. 38 minutes until the live show. And we interrupt this program for a quick look at the SpaceX launch, which is happening right now.
Looks like all 33 Raptor engines on the base of the Super Heavy booster are performing as expected in a good ascent 30 seconds into flight.
Well, it looks like the rocket is working.
All right, we're more than 30 seconds into flight. Telemetry showing 33 out of 33 engines as it's pitching down range.
Now more than a minute into flight. Vehicle passing through max Q, the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure. Coming upon a
I really
few
like that
events
quote
in fairly rapid succession here.
that
We'll
someone
see.
once told me about Elon Musk,
Booster, most engines
basically
cut off on
saying,
Miko.
I hope that Elon Musk realizes that,
T+2 minutes, 32
compared
seconds,
to
that'll
the
be
top
followed
of
by
Mount
hot
Everest,
staging,
or sorry,
and the
compared
Super
to
Heavy
Mars,
booster boost
Mount
back burn
Everest
will
is a
start at
tropical
T+2
ocean,
minutes and
tropical
46
paradise.
seconds. Call for max Q. SpaceX launch teams are doing their necessary checks to ensure that the tower is ready to support a catch of the Super Heavy booster. They'll also be
Also going
tracking
to catch it
data
again
coming
also
down
today.
from the booster itself, and they will make a manual call on whether they're going to be pursuing the catch or not. Less than 20 seconds away to Miko. Some great tracking work by the team here. Coming up on Miko now. There you see Miko. Next will be hot staging. And the boost back burn startup. We're awaiting the call that they are confirmed go for catch. Hot stage
I can't
jettison
see the
coming
rocket
up
anymore.
here in
So we'll
just
go
a
back
few
to,
seconds.
well, I'll keep you posted if anything interesting happens.
That hot stage range should be jettisoned right now. Confirmation there, go for boost return.
There's a question about the generation of Sebastian's boat. And it's a second generation foiler. And it was the previous 11th hour ship. So it was the winner of the actual ocean race last edition in the Yamaka class. And actually, Wolves, shall I show you something really cool? Because we're talking about space flights also. And you don't know me, but as an entrepreneur, I once had a startup concept to make a VR chair that moves for like gaming and flight simulation and stuff. And I just found the concept video that I made and directed of this idea years back. It was called Space Pilot. Check this out.
About to see represents a significant breakthrough in the conquest of space itself.
Just remembered this because of the lunch.
Grease cracking aboard. Let's go!
What? I made that like so many years ago. A fun project. Dun, dun, dun. But I never made it out of the development stage. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens. Let's see. "29 minutes until the live stream starts."
对角更靠南的海岛。哇嘿！
8 minutes before the live feed should start. So far we've had postponements all the time. I just showed you the map. Doesn't look like Sebastian is already that close. He is pretty close. But he's still somewhat before the big line, as you can see. So we'll have to wait and see if it actually starts. So you can see here another update that just came in. This video of Boris's foil when the damage just happened. So you can see the clear break. You can see the outer shell and the inner part. Pretty cool to see. I mean, not cool for Boris, but cool for us to see the details here. Yeah, so you can see clearly the inside of the foil. Yeah, we already saw this part, but that was before he actually made the fix. Pretty crazy to see Boris at work there. Yeah, that was it. The latest update from an earlier time though, but still interesting to see. And we just got a nice updates from Zhu. He's getting close to land, close to the Falklands. I see that the time for the live stream has been once again updated to 1 hour later. So we have 48 minutes more. Real nail biters, these events. Just waiting for the update from Zhu to come in here. Takes a second. Nearly there. Nearly there. And there we go. On board with Zhu.
Diego Ramirez 的陆地就在前边。哇，看到陆地了！Diego Ramirez 是比横人角更靠南的海岛。哇嘿！2025年1月15号，世界时19点58分，我们通过了南美洲的最南极点 Diego Ramirez。感谢我的赞助商深圳投资，还有海口城市支持我们来到了这里。感谢我的团队们。Hello， 朋友们，今天是1月15号，是我们航行的第65天了。然后我们现在正在通过南美洲的 Diego Ramirez 这个海岛，这是整个南美大陆最南边的点。其实大家可能都知道南美洲的合恩角，但是没有人知道 Diego Ramirez。Diego Ramirez 是真正的南美洲的最南极的点。然后，那么为什么大家可能更熟知 Cape Horn？ 因为非常的风高浪急，所以很多的船，其实大部分的船都不会绕到 Diego Ramirez 这个更南边的点，因为这实在太危险了。所以大部分的船都会经过合恩角绕过去，就赶紧离开这个风暴角了。所以慢慢的，大家就约定俗成的把 Cape Horn 变成了南美洲的最南边的点，来作为风暴角的起点。但其实真正的风暴角，真正的最南边的点是 Diego Ramirez。然后我们现在正在经过 Diego Ramirez， 可以给大家看一下。看我们现在的船位 ，Diego Ramirez 这个海岛。我们来放大一下 ，Cape Horn 还在前边，再更前边，再更北边一点。然后这是南美大陆。我马上就要离开太平洋，进入大西洋了。Diego Ramirez 距离南极只有300海里，如果用我们的超级载船1天1夜，我们就可以到南极了。好了，现在我带大家出去看看 Diego Ramirez 这个海岛。我们正在穿过风暴角，不过今天非常的幸运，我们刚刚把风暴甩在了身后，然后我们有一个非常理想的天气，通过了风暴角。Diego Ramirez 陆地，我们看到陆地了，哈哈！Diego Ramirez 深圳 team 海口，耶嘿！哇！当然这里也很少有船只能够到达这里，除非像因为我们参加汪带这样的比赛，我们根本不在乎什么路线不路线，我们完全就是随着风最快的路线、最快的速度前行。当然，可能如果正常的时候，这里的风浪都非常大，但是我们今天非常的幸运，赶上了一个非常棒的天气，通过了南美洲的最南点。那么从现在开始， 在我的身后就是太平洋，在我的前面就是大西洋了。我们又回到大西洋了。从现在开始，也意味着回家之路的开启了。从现在开始，我们将会一路北上，返回法国，离家越来越近了。太开心了！能看到陆地了。
Yeah, so much fun to see Zheng Xu enjoy there, having a great time on the open ocean. And I mean, yeah, with his handicap, sailing the Southern Ocean and just doing so well, really inspirational to see. Very, very cool. Yeah, and I guess we got some time to wait. So we'll have some fun with this. Let's watch another Seawolves adventure. This is actually our first ever adventure that started the channel 6 years ago. Check this out. For many of you haven't seen this, I think. Kind of a cool adventure.
This is the story of how a sailing weekend with two friends turned into, well, I guess you'll see for yourself. Hello, good morning everybody, and welcome to this first episode of Seawolves. So I promised that I would take you all along for my 3 to 4 day sailing trip that I'm about to go on with my friends Tom and Jerry. I kid you not, more on that later. And I'm doing this in English voor de Nederlanders. Als je denkt, waarom doet hij het in het Engels? Because most of the Seawolves are, of course, English speaking fellows and ladies. So that's why I'm doing this in English. And right now I'm packing my bags, as you can see. And the plan is to either sail to England or Vlieland, based on the weather, where there's still a discussion going on between the three of us, what is smarter. And the main criteria is that we have 4 days maximum to do this. After that we all have, other work things to do. So the wind looks really good for England, but the wind back is going to be basically as bad as it could possibly be. But if we go to Vlieland, then we have a perfect window to go and a nice beam reach with a little bit of beating at the end, and we can have an amazingly fast trip back, also with perfect wind conditions. So I think it's probably going to be Vlieland, but we're going to see later. For now, as you can see, I'm packing my stuff, so let's get to the marina and we'll see what happens. of course, have to kiss goodbye to the lady before leaving. So.
I'm in the middle of a meeting. Okay.
This is the route which we plan to sail, from Amsterdam straight to the island of Terschelling. First, we would have to motor down the Canal to the city of IJmuiden from Amsterdam, where we would exit onto the North Sea, then turning our course north, first passing the island of Noorderhaaks, then the island of Texel, Vlieland, and finally passing through the Vliestroom, or otherwise called the Sea Gate of Terschelling, to the city of West Terschelling, with its iconic lighthouse, the Brandaris.
We zijn onderweg, we are underway. It's early and I'll show you, the sun is almost coming up. Hello to the Seawolves.
Hello to the Seawolves.
Hey,
say hello.
The sun is coming up.
Yeah.
And this is Tom and Jerry. Whether you believe it,
Tom and Jerry.
Whether you believe it or not.
Now, believe it or not, but their names really are Tom and Jerry. And both of them are avid sailors, and you might even know Tom if you ever watch sailing videos, because this video here kind of went viral of a ship in storm entering a very, very narrow entrance to the island of Vlieland, which actually will come back in this video later. And with this kind of heroic entrance in the middle of a storm, it was actually watched about 800,000 times and went all over the world. But the guy piloting this particular boat is actually Tom, right there. That's him. So maybe you've already seen him once before.
About an hour more to IJmuiden, and then we're going on to the North Sea. And the destination is going to be Terschelling. So here we go.
The ship we're sailing for this journey is Jerry's very own pride and joy, the Lowland Lady, which he actually sailed to Norway and back just a few weeks ago, so we know she's in great shape.
So we just went through the lock. Now we're gonna fuel up, and then it's onto the sea. We're already on the salt water, so it smells really nice. Looking forward.
After a quick refueling stop and rig check in IJmuiden, we're finally ready to hit the sea. It's time to raise the sails and stretch our sea legs. from the start, we're setting an amazing pace, sailing at about a 60-degree angle into about 20 knots of wind. And the view is amazing. The skies are absolutely clear. And since the wind is blowing in over land, the sea is as flat as I've ever seen it in these type of wind conditions.
Like the fire brigade. Zo. Ja, heerlijk. Onder.
Once we reach about 5 miles of shore, we tighten up the sails, setting our course a little bit higher on the wind, and we settle in for what we expect to be about a 15-hour sail. But we notice that the gusts are pretty strong, going slightly over 25 knots already, so we decide to reef the main in anticipation of perhaps some more wind to come. When you love sailing, if you've caught that bug, then there's almost nothing better than the sound of the wind and waves just rushing past the hull limits. First reef in, we're ready for action. And action, we're about to get.
Ja, kijk, nou staat hij mooi. Nou staat hij perfect.
With the average wind and gusts increasing steadily as we go, we quickly decide to put a reef in the Genoa as well. These are the type of conditions that every sailor dreams of. A warm September day, about 20 degrees, a flat sea with wind coming from shore, an average wind of 25 to 27 knots with gusts up to about 32. It's absolutely perfect sailing conditions, and we are having an absolute blast.
Best conditions possible. Flying like a rocket. And it's amazing. Very
Friday morning.
Oké, hier, leg uit.
Oké, dit is een puur Hollandse... Oh, I have to do it in English.
Oh ja, eigenlijk wel. Ja, precies. Ja.
This is a real Dutch habit. Eating raw herring fish.
While we are enjoying some delicious Dutch delicacies, the wind and waves are slowly but certainly building more. As we reach the island of Noorderhaag and are ready to turn more into the wind, making our way past Texel and towards the edge of Ruyant.
Dat ziet er een stuk beter uit.
To make our way past Texel, we have to sail the lowland lady about as high on the wind as she'll go. And as we made a turn now, some of the wind is no longer coming over land, but also just from sea, increasing the gusts by quite a bit. Meanwhile, the tide has turned with us, and we now enjoy about a 2.5 knot current pushing us faster north, increasing our speed over ground to between 7 and 8 knots. With the wind coming from the exact opposite direction, we have a perfect wind against tide situation, and the waves are building quickly. And as I'm keeping watch on my own for a bit, as Tom and Jerry are enjoying a sandwich below outside of the wind, we are suddenly hit by the first gust that blows well over 40 knots. And we get the first glimpse of what is about to hit us. Tipping the boat over fully, forcing me to depower the main a little bit to regain control. And bringing up Tom to discuss if perhaps it's time to put in an extra reef into the sails. Wind speed is still between 25 and 32 knots, but gusts over 40 knots are no joke, and usually they're not alone. Decisions while sailing are serious. The wind prediction was a steady 20 knots with no significant gusts, but a gust over 40 knots, which means up to about 32 knots in absolute terms, is much more wind than predicted, and we're about half of the way past Texel already. There's a real sense on board that the wind is increasing and will keep doing so. All of the marinas near here are located on the inside of the island ring and require us to navigate one of the narrow and shallow sea gates into the extremely shallow and treacherous Waddenzee, meaning if the wind increases much more, we have no real options for shelter, except to turn around and sail back to Amsterdam.
The marinas on the islands all require the tides to be exactly right in order for us to enter with our 2-meter draft. And the sun is setting. We estimate we have only about 4 hours of daylight left at this point. Also, we have a 2-knot current pushing us north. Turning back would decrease our boat speed, making it impossible to reach the marina of Texel in time to enter. But with the tide with us and our boat speed at an incredible 7 to 8 knots, Vlieland seems like our best option. Unlike Terschelling, it allows us to sail the final bit with the wind with us instead of fully against us. So our plan is made. We keep the sails up to keep our boat speed at its maximum. We are going to Vlieland. Half an hour later, we experience another massive wind increase. But the average wind speeds that we've been experiencing so far have been between 25 and 32 knots. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to an average wind speed of about 37 to 40 knots, with increases up to 50. And you're about to see the dramatic impact on our speed for yourself. Now, adrenaline rush and fun aside, it's time to put on our vests because this stuff is getting serious.
absolutely flying along. But we were also losing a lot of ground because of the very strong winds, drifting more and more offshore. So we decided it was time to make tack. Since our angle into the wind did not need to be as dramatic on this tack, we had a moment to relax a little bit as we made our way back towards the shoulder. The wind was holding steady now though, gushing from 38 to 45 knots across our bow, with gusts up to well into 50 knots. And the force of this wind against the strong tides had put up some significant waves, steep and high, and with not many meters between them. And then the moment came to make our next and final tack, clearing Texel, making our way towards the edge of Vlieland, setting our new course as high into the wind as the lowland lady would allow us to steer. The relative wind jumping up well over 45 knots and dipping even into the 50s as we all held on for one hell of a ride.
half uurtje en dan landen wij in het woord Vlieland in plaats van Terschelling, want de wind vol tegen is iets te heftig. En in het donker is het een beetje moeilijk binnenlopen daar. Dus we hopen dat we het net voor het donker halen om bij Vlieland binnen te lopen. Wordt nog spannend. Nog 30 minuten denken we. We gaan het zien.
remember that small gate to the marina of Vlieland that I mentioned in the beginning of this film? At this moment, the sun is already under for about 15 minutes. Here in the video, it still looks pretty light, but I'm using a camera with an f-stop of 1.8. In reality, it looks more like this.
Netjes, netjes!
Nou, we hebben het gehaald. We zijn er. Wat een toptocht was dat.
Het resultaat van de dag zeilen is dat we iets wat water hebben binnen gehad.
Een heel klein leukje op laten staan. Proost.
Cheers jongens.
Proost man hè.
Wat een dag.
Op de behouden vaart.
ja, nou dat was een mooie. Thank you all for watching. We really hope that you enjoyed this little adventure of ours. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. In the next episode, follow us along as we make it actually to Terschelling and then make a night sail back to Amsterdam. So hopefully see you again on the water soon.
Yes, it looks indeed like 3 minutes until the live stream will start. 2 minutes and 50. So we're looking forward to the finish now of Sebastien Simon in the 3rd position with only 1 foil, a historic feat, only surpassed, I guess, by Alex Thompson, who finished 2nd with 1 foil and sailed almost the same distance with just 1 foil. So it's kind of an illustrious group to be part of. One minute, Wolves. It looks like it's actually going to happen. So I hope you all have your drinks ready. I got my Reykjavik cup ready here. So let's go. 3, 2, 1. Happy finish.
Seb, how are you?
Good, and you?
Not too bad. Your English is getting better every day.
Yeah? It's nice, thank you.
Well done. Anyway, how does it feel approaching Les Sables d'Olonne in 3rd place? How are you feeling today?
I'm looking forward to cross the finish line for sure. I spent a few days to just think about the finish line, so I'm looking forward to cross this line. It's gonna be a really great moment, probably really emotional, I don't know. I want to see my family and my sponsors and my team. It's really important for me right now. So yeah, I think I'm ready.
How is the wind, how is the conditions going to be to the finish?
It's a nice condition. You know, right now I am in Brittany, so there is some clouds, for sure. It's 12 knots.
So the timer was just reset again with an extra 15 minutes. It's now 13 actually already. So a little longer, but not much longer.
I expected to cross the line between 10 and midnight.
Yeah, it's actually 1 minute past 1 now, Tom.
Moment you're going through the waters,
So it's pretty late here.
from the Figaro.
and I have to get up at 6 in the morning for a business meeting.
Yes,
So I'm going to have a long night.
Because I learned
Gonna be sleeping.
offshore sailing in Brittany, close to the Ratsin, and I crossed the Ratsin this morning, or really close to cross the Ratsin. So it was a really nice moment this night. Just I did some tack just to avoid the current. The current was really strong, but it was a really nice moment for.
And tell us a little bit, while you can, about growing up in Les Sables with the Vendeeglobe in the background to your life. What was it like?
Yeah, I am born at the same time as Vendeeglobe. So for me, it's the race of my life, you know, and I have only one motivation. I had one motivation. I had two motivations. The first one was to finish the Vendeeglobe, and the second one, the ultimate one, was to win one day the Vendeeglobe. So after this third place, I hope so, I not finish. I have only one goal for 2028. It's to prepare a new project to win the Vendeeglobe. That is my goal for today.
And meantime, Seb, has anyone told Chiffon that Daddy's coming home?
Yeah, Chiffon is coming, so I'm sure that Chiffon will be there on the rib, just to have a good welcome. I hope so. I don't know what kind of show my girlfriend wants to do, but I'm sure Chiffon will be there. I'm looking forward to see Chiffon.
Great stuff. All the best, Seb. We look forward to seeing you, and stay safe through the day.
Yeah, so a little bit longer. We also had an update from Boris. For those who haven't seen that yet, this is new footage, about an hour old, of him making a final modification to the foil. So he was able to stabilize situation. He was not able to cut off the foil. It's just too strong. I mean, it's pure carbon, so it was very hard. But he managed to stabilize it with 3 lines. And you're actually seeing him here placing the last line, stabilizing it so that he's able to sail on. He essentially retracted the foil, or was able to get the foil back into the boat as far as possible. And then the short piece that's still sticking out, he's been able to kind of fortify that with 3 lines, so that it's not really functioning as a foil, but it will hinder him in performance as little as possible. So that's kind of what you're seeing here, using the line from the mast to safely climb. Nine minutes. They're saying that Sebastian right now is 1 mile out, so that's the best I can tell you. 1 mile out from the finish. But it shouldn't take too long.
So this is how the foil is attached now. There are 3 ropes in 3 directions. So first rope is this one here, the green, becoming red, going all the way to the foil. Then this red, becoming black, going down there, all the way to the foil. And then this rope here, this one, turning black here, going forward to the purchase system attached to the J15.
Yeah, so this is the last update from Boris that came in on the video server while we were waiting. So this is not live. For those who are just dropping in, we're just waiting for the live stream to start, and if all goes well, it should be 8 minutes for the live to begin. So we just have to wait a little bit longer. But we'll get there soon. We can enjoy some onboard footage shot earlier by Sebastian. Five minutes and counting. Three minutes till the start of the live, Wolves. Or at least that's what they're saying right now. But looks like he's very close. 2 minutes. It looks like we're really going to go live soon. One minute holds. Finally, it's happening, people. It's happening. Here we go.
Welcome to the waters off Les Sables d'Olonne. We're waiting for the first images, and there we go with Groupe de Braille, then Sebastien Simon, the local hero, arriving back in Les Sables d'Olonne, ready to take third place in this 10th edition of the Vendeeglobe, a 34-year-old skipper who was born in the year of the first ever Vendeeglobe. And he's only ever known the Vendeeglobe. He grew up in this town where the Vendeeglobe started. All the way through his life, it's been in the background. Started his sailing in Optimus dinghies off the waters, off Les Sables d'Olonne. And here he is coming back the very first time that a sailor from Les Sables d'Olonne has finished on the podium of this historic single-handed non-stop round the world race. Alan Roberts, your thoughts on Seb arriving back in Les Sables?
Yeah, this will certainly be a pretty emotional moment for Seb. He's obviously had to he retired from the last Vendeeglobe down to Cape Town, and had a pretty painful project on the last round. This project came together quite last minute for him. He managed to pick up a good boat at the end of the ocean race last year. This is the boat that actually won the ocean race at the 11th hour. Guillaume Verdier designed boats, and since he's picked up this boat, he's done what's necessary to qualify, and he's definitely peaked here at the Vendeeglobe. It's been a fantastic success for him, and it's not been easy. He's had a bit of damage along the route. You can see his starboard foil is completely missing, broken off at the root. So that's obviously impeded him a bit in boat speed in the Southern Ocean on port tack when he would have been leaning on it. But luckily for Seb, most of the way up the Atlantic is on starboard tack, so using his port foil.
But already there's a big crowd of spectator boats out on the water, even though it's 20 past 1 in the morning local time here in France. It's been a relatively slow passage down from the point of Brittany. But already there's a big really accelerating now nicely with probably about a mile to go. He's been anticipating this moment for a long time. He's actually known that he would, if he could hold the boat together and not have any problems, then the third place has been his for certainly the last week.
Yeah.
So it's only a case of bringing the boat safely home, and these are the final moments of his race.
And in a way, that's been quite a nice position to know that he's had a good buffer behind him, Andy. You know, it's probably allowed him to mellow down his sailing, which reduces his risk of damage. So it's probably been quite a nice position. The first two are quite a long way ahead, and the bunch behind are quite a long way behind.
But for sure, I think still very, very nervous times these few days, knowing that anything could happen, but he's coming in towards the finish line. As Alan said, retired from the last Vendeeglobe. The project came together late with a local sponsor, the De Bruyne family, group of companies. Got this round the world race winner, and since then he's still had a fairly checkered project. Lost his mast close to the finish of the Retourne-la-Basse race at the back end of last winter, which meant that he only just qualified for the Vendeeglobe. In fact, he had to come across the finish line under jury rig, suffering from a back injury, which then had him bedbound for 3 months, and really was at his back to the wall even at the start of this season. However, he's always shown that he can sail fast ever since he was a kid. And of course, Alan comes away from this race not only with third place, but with the solo 24-hour record, which he set at the 615 nautical miles in 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a good buy, a good project, this boat. They bought a well-known boat, a solid boat, proven boat, ocean race, tested, developed another boat. We talked about links here. This boat was 11th hour. They had links in with their concept transfer Gabba's outfit, which again is where Charlie's project was run by, and Johan passed through as well.
So there we go, ready to get to the line, just on the bow of his Imoca. The final mile or less to the finish line.
And again, Seb's another one who's grown up through the figure eight fleet, like Johan, like Charlie. He's come through the whole Finisterre course, a large training group, and 4 years in the figure eight before he got a break into the Imoca 60. So he's really again come from the same background as the leading two boats in this race.
But it's great to see him just focusing on the finish line. He has his course set for the Nusud.
He's looking out for
and the finish line. But I think these are really when the emotions start to take over. He's been anticipating this for so long, and he knows what adversity and what hardship he's been through over recent years. At one point, not quite knowing that he would get to the start of his second Vendeglobe, and he's already pledged to be back in 2028 with a project to try and win the race. So just making contact by VHF with the finish boat.
Yeah, so you can see again, the entire fleet of Les Sables spectators have come out.
He will have no regrets about the damage that he's suffered with the losing that starboard foil. He said many times since then, if you'd offered him a third place at the start of this race, he'd have signed up for it.
I guess you're all having a terrible echo, huh? So I think I'll just take over from here. Because I hope I don't have an echo. Can you let me know in the chat? Because I don't have an echo here, and I know what's going on. So obviously, Charlie dumbstruck, because just like the other two skippers, you have to keep in mind that this is not just coming home, and of course he's also seeing his young child there. So that's going to be a big moment. And I heard that actually his kid is going to be there on one of the ribs. So we're probably going to see them come on board also. So there's going to be a big reunite there. But also the fact that they haven't seen anybody, haven't spoken to anybody for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's, of course, something that's very jarring to then be alone for so long. And don't instantly be surrounded just by all of those ships there coming into the beautiful lights of Les Sables. Must be quite something. Yeah, chiffon, exactly. It's his kid. So I heard, I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that she's going to be coming on board, going to be on one of the ribs. So he's going to be very happy, of course. You can imagine how hard it is, a newish father missing your kid for that long. Must be crazy hard. So he has a good reason to go home as fast as he possibly can, and making this historic moment happen. Must be a big mix of just many, many things going through his head. But getting close to the finish, I see here Scott saying 0.19 mile. So that would mean we're minutes away from the line. I see in the chat that we don't have any echo now. So just so you guys know, the technique over here at Seawolves is shipshape. And I'm going to switch back now real quick to the official audio so we know the exact moment when he's past the finish. So we'll go back to the echo now.
All the time he was saying, even yesterday that he was trying to just sail to the maximum, use all the little wind shifts, tacking down through.
And there he goes.
For Sebastien Simon, finished at 00:27:37 hours, so 27 minutes after midnight. UTC.
It's quite slow now. The wind has gone down quite a bit.
Local time.
It's not very windy like in the other starts.
And there is this team which just came together in July last year, thanks to the support of this Vendeeglobe group of companies, celebrating with him now. And I'm sure this is going to be a big Friday and a big weekend in Les Sables d'Olonne.
I think they found the cause of the echo.
Heroic
Good.
solo sailor comes back ashore. They'll come into the channel tomorrow around about 8 a.m. But his team come on board.
And we see now his team coming on board.
Will take control of the boat. And immediately the pressure is off Seb.
Yeah, he'll be able to relax now a little bit. And he's got a few hours to wait till he can come into the channel.
Alan still has an echo.
I think he can't quite believe it's done. He cannot believe it, can he?
No, he
knew that there was going to be an emotional moment, and it absolutely is. He was saying just a few days ago that the good times, you very quickly forget the bad times, and he's a skipper who's known the bad times. As I say, last Vendeeglobe ended up prematurely in Cape Town.
He looks very emotional there on the foredeck.
So just trying to come to terms with it. Just also
sitting down,
thanking Race Direction,
talking on the radio
for their work, keeping an eye on the fleet all the time.
Yeah, and that also means that we have our entire podium, places 1, 2, and 3 in now. So we have Charlie Dalin, Jan Richaud, and Sebastien Simon, the top 3 of this 2024 Vendeeglobe.
And his close family.
His family coming on board now. Must be so cool to be able to share this with them.
What he's been through since the last race. You can understand
There we see the moment.
Level of emotion and the acute satisfaction with the team. When you consider, Alan, that the 2 other teams are ahead of them, so Patrick Arkea and Massif, huge resources, and certainly both of them been going for quite a long time. And this, I would say, is a team which has exceeded expectations, and in the end has been more than the sum of its parts. Really came in late, but I think the key thing, Alan, has been moving in smartly for the 11th hour for the boat which won the last ocean race. They bought it very quickly after the end of the race. The boat is very, very quick, very optimized.
Yes, and so it's true that all of the top 3 sailors here came in well before the record. So the old record was 74 days and change. And Charlie did it in 65 days and change. Jon in 66 days and change. And we have now Sebastian in 67 days and change. So Sebastian is also still 7 days faster than the old record. So all three of them have moved the record significantly. And of course, Charlie will be the new holder of the ultimate record to break. But all three have this record. And Sebastien Simon did get the 24-hour speed record, because that was broken first, of course, by Jon Ruyant. Then Sebastian broke it. Then Charlie, Jon, and Sebastian traded that record back and forth several times. And ultimately, Sebastian was able to hold on it to the end. So he has the 24-hour speed record. That's one where he actually scored a first place in this race also. Yeah, so here, good view of the broken foil. He sawed it off, of course.
You can see that foil is
There's nothing left
nothing
of it,
left of it, Alan.
Yeah, it's broken right off of the root. It looks like it was just overloaded, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty severe damage. But I guess it's also lucky, because the less you have sticking out, the less drag you have. And so, yeah, in a way, he had a good break. Good, clean, not too much sticking out. And it's also quite psychological that he never made much pictures of it or videos of it. He never talked about it. From the moment it happened, he pretty much ignored it and just sailed on. So it speaks also to his mentality. Pretty cool. It seems that we've now lost completely the sound, even though it's still on. I think they accidentally turned it down on race control. I'll just take over here again until they come back. So his family now on board. You can imagine a big party as they're slowly making their way to the marina of Les Sables. I actually don't know what the tide situation is right now. I can imagine that he can't go in, because Charlie also had to wait for quite a while. And of course, they're still a little bit far out, but the tides have to be just right, because the Zamocas can't go into the marina, just at any moment of the day. There's only 2 tidal windows for them to get in. I don't know if anybody in chat knows what the tidal window is right now, if they actually are going right in, or if they have to wait several hours. I don't know over here. But it's possible that they have to hang out there for quite a while. Of course, he has his crew on board now, so Sebastian can just relax, take in the sights, enjoy the moment. Of course, he'll soon go on the bow, ignite the flares, and have the classic winner moment there.
Solitaire de Figaro win. He left Charlie Dallin in third place.
The sound is back.
Vendeeglobe winner this time round was in third in that race, and more on that race, and really marked himself out as a potential for the future. He had his new Amoca that next year, and that was not really a project that was very successful.
Yeah, the flares are coming.
I keep coming back to all the links between the sailors. There's another link that links these top 3 sailors more than, or as well as the Figaro sailing circuit that they did. Pole finish.
Okay, yeah, so he can't go in immediately. He has to wait for several hours also, because the tides are not right now.
In the single-handed
but have to wait.
World, having won the solitaire 3 times. He Seb did a transatlantic Jack Vabre with Jan finishing 4th. So, I'm sure all of these sailors have benefited from his vast experience, his talents as a very feeling sailor, which I think is another interesting link again to show.
By the way, interesting detail about the flares.
Sebastien Simon,
I don't know how they're going to do that with the race in a few years. But I think in 2 years, there is a plan, at least in Europe, to replace all flares with very bright LED lights. I know they're working on this with European rules. So at some point, they're going to ban flares. So I don't know what they're going to do in the Vendeeglobe then with this tradition.
2 days, 17 hours, 0240 after Charlie Dallin, and 1 day, 18 hours, 15 minutes and 35 seconds after Johan Richomme. He sailed the theoretical course of 23,905 miles at an average of 14.75 knots, and he actually sailed 27,807 nautical miles at 17.16. So sailing actually quite a few miles less than Charlie Dallin and indeed Johan Richomme, I think.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting to look back and see the different tracks of the boats. I mean, part of it is driven by the weather systems, and some of it is a bit of luck, whether you get the right system that allows you to go straight to the next point.
And certainly down, or he was one of the first to pick up the low pressure system coming down off Brazil. And that really was a stage of the race that was definitive, as Charlie Dallin and Johan Richomme told us. That was a really fast, direct route for the race down towards the Cape of Good Hope. And that was really, I think, when we saw how fast Sebastien Simon had the potential to sail. So let's have a quick look back at the race of the highlights of Group de Brais race with Sebastien Simon. Just having a quick look, a quick flash down his course in a few seconds. So this is the race of Sebastien Simon.
4 ans après une première participation avortée, Sebastien Simon, l'enfant du pays vendéen, repart à l'assaut de la course de ses rêves. Dans la descente de l'Atlantique Nord, il tient fermement sa place dans le groupe des bateaux leaders. Il passe l'équateur en 7e position. Grâce à une dépression brésilienne qui tombe à pic, Sebastien Simon entame une descente vertigineuse vers le cap de Bonne-Espérance. 6 concurrents jouent à battre des records de vitesse et le Vendéen fait plus que participer. Il affole les compteurs en franchissant la barre des 600 000 parcourus en 24 heures en monocoque et en solitaire, 615 000.
Parce qu'on a mis la barre très très haute, on avait les conditions pour ça. Et voilà, j'espère que ce record, on va le garder encore un petit moment.
Cette descente infernale et magique à la fois le mène au cap de Bonne-Espérance, celui-là même où il avait dû s'arrêter il y a 4 ans. Le début de l'océan Indien le voit batailler avec Charlie Dallin et Johan Richomme. Une dépression australe très violente se présente. Dans le sillage de Charlie Dallin, Sebastien Simon choisit de fuir par l'est, une option qui pourrait permettre de créer un écart décisif avec le reste des concurrents. Encore faut-il ne pas se faire rattraper.
La mer est très formée, ça va parce que la houle est assez longue, mais quand je suis allé prendre un riz tout à l'heure, c'était assez impressionnant.
Il tient et passe le cap Lewin en 2e position. Mais ce morceau de bravoure est mal récompensé, alors qu'il aurait aimé constituer un trio légendaire avec Dallin et Richomme le 7 décembre, son foil tribord casse.
C'est vraiment très dur à encaisser, hein, je vous l'avoue, en parler me déplaît énormément. C'est dur pour tout le monde et en tout cas la course n'est pas finie, hein, je vais aller au bout.
Amputé, déséquilibré, son bateau ne lui permet pas de suivre le rythme et il doit laisser le trio de tête devenir un duo sans lui.
C'est pas ce qu'il y a de plus agréable de se faire doubler comme ça, c'est un peu injuste, mais ça fait partie du jeu.
Mais Sebastien Simon encaisse vaillamment ce coup dur et poursuit de son mieux dans le Pacifique. Il laisse certes partir les 2 fusées, mais tient à bonne distance ses poursuivants. Il s'offre comme cadeau de Noël le Cap Horn, un jour après les 2 premiers, et toujours en avance sur le record d'Armel Lecléache de 2016.
Je le vois, génial. Ça fait plaisir de revoir la Terre.
Dans la remontée de l'Atlantique Sud, Sebastien Simon ne bénéficie pas de conditions aussi favorables que les 2 leaders, mais il reste concentré sur la marche du bateau. Il passe l'équateur avant d'attraper les alizés.
Route vers les Sables d'Olonne maintenant, tout le temps tribord. Wouh!
Admirable de résilience et de persévérance, il rejoint les Sables d'Olonne en ayant parcouru plus de la moitié du parcours privé d'un foil, tout en préservant sa 3e position. Une place sur le podium qui force l'admiration et qui, à coup sûr, fait vibrer son port d'attache.
So very quick recap there of Sebastien Simon's course. I think, Alan, one of the key things then, really two things that stand out after Cape Horn. He didn't get the same kind of conditions, the same kind of breaks as the boats in front, and also he ended up much further inshore into the Brazilian coast where the others got away there.
Yeah, exactly, and that's for sure a feature of this race course. Sometimes the weather's with you, and you get to extend on the boats behind you, and sometimes it's not with you, and you can press. I guess the advantage Seb had from his position was the boats behind him were quite a long way behind, and he was able to extend from them. Unfortunately for him, the two ahead of him were able to extend on him. So it's in some ways he was lucky, in some ways he was unlucky. But he definitely had a route that was a lot closer to the Brazilian coast, which in some ways increases the risks. There's a lot more fishing boats and traffic along the coastline.
So Sebastien Simon will stay on a mooring overnight. He is the race rules or the rules do not permit the skippers to come ashore until they're into the channel and docked on the Ponton d'Honneur tomorrow. That's the race rules, and so he will be staying out on his boat. Obviously, have lots of company, and will surely enjoy his night. But it will be 7 or 8 o'clock tomorrow morning when he comes into the channel. Usually we wait for the first dawn, and I think he has actually, in terms of time, Alan, he's got up till 9:30 to come in, but I think he'll come in as early as possible. He doesn't want to stay out too long, but obviously I want a little bit of light for the many tens of thousands of spectators who will welcome on the channel. And of course the channel that he knows so well, these waters where he sailed his early days, and where I think he's quite a big foiling wing foiler as well. He does a lot of winging, and that's I think how he met, and kite surfing. He met his Spanish co-skipper Iker Martinez, who he sailed the Transat Jacques Vabre with. So anyway, join us tomorrow morning. We will have the channel at 8 o'clock tomorrow for Sebastien Simon's triumphant homecoming, the hero of this Vendeeglobe for the town, which gives it's the birth of the Vendeeglobe. Will welcome Sebastian home tomorrow morning. So join us then, 8 o'clock in the channel.
You heard it there, Wolves. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock, we'll be back on stream for Sebastian coming in to the channel. For now, they're going to put the boats on a mooring buoy, and they're going to sleep overnight there. So that is what it is for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you hadn't already. It's great sharing another piece of the finish with you. And you all enjoy your evening.